Good afternoon, ma'am. Sujata, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon, Prakash.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Bhavani Shankar, ma'am.
Yeah, here it is showing as Prakash.
Okay, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's day 4, session 2 for the FDP of data analytics, security, privacy, and its application. And it's my immense pleasure to introduce a speaker of today's session, Dr. M. Mary Sujata, ma'am. Dr. M. Mary Sujata, ma'am, is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science, National Sanskrit University, Tirupati. And ma'am completed her post-graduation in information systems, completed MTech in computer science and engineering, and ma'am awarded doctorate in computer science and engineering from KRISHNA University in the area of artificial intelligence and biological mining. Academically, ma'am has a good number of research papers in various reputed journals, patents, and more number of copyrights. And madam has more than 13 years of work experience, including both industry and teaching. And madam was a meritorious student, recognition by Education Department, Government of Andhra Pradesh in the year 1999-2000. And madam certified by Sun and Oracle certified developer in 2007, JDA certified business analyst who worked with many real-time clients during 2006 to 2009. And madam attained UGC lectureship in 2012. She is an educator who acts as a teacher, facilitator, student counselor, and coordinator for the curricular and co-curricular activities. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. Dear participants, please give your full attention to madam's session. Thank you so much, ma'am. You can proceed now.
Yeah, thank you, Bhavani Shankar. Good afternoon, one and all. Hope you are able to listen my voice. Is there any problem with this?
No, you are able to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. So I would like to extend my thanks to my teachers, Krishna University, especially Kiran Kumar Reddy sir, for giving me this opportunity. Today I'm here to discuss about machine learning techniques impact on language processing. And by this session, you would able to understand how language processing is affected by machine learning and how you can do your further research in that particular area. That is the main agenda for today's today's session. Uh, Before, as he already introduced about myself as Mary Sujata, Computer Science Department, Assistant Professor in National Sanskrit University. All these things already he has explained you. No need of explaining all those things again. So let us go with our session. I'm just going to share my PPT with you. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Thank you. Yeah, this is today's agenda. So by this, you are going to learn about, first we will go with the introduction session. As a part of it, I am going to explain you what a machine learning and how language processing is related with machine learning. It would be continued with the different use cases study. By studying these use cases, we will get an idea why we have to work with this particular domain. And for working this domain, we need to have certain techniques also. Those techniques knowledge I'm going to give you as a further discussion. In that complete model, I'll explain you from the scratch, like from the data selection to producing it through language processing techniques. All those things I'll explain you in a simple model. Finally, the session concludes with discussing about open issues. This is complete agenda for today's discussion. So as we already know, and we are learning from different sessions, like machine learning is nothing but through which we can make the things better and better in an automated way. Like just by applying or just by implementing certain applications through machine learning techniques, everything would be automated and user or human intervention would be minimized. That is the main goal behind this machine learning that we already know. And about language processing, just by learning this language processing, we can understand the language better. Language is nothing but what the thing which we are talking every day. It might be English, Telugu, Hindi, or whatever the language. We have to understand it. Why we have to understand it? What is the reason behind understanding it? Not only in understanding it, just we have to analyze the things such that it makes much more sense. You would be surprised by listening this statement. Is in traditional view, a machine can understand only zeros and ones. This is the only strategy that we know in from our earlier background. But by the intervention of this language processing, now the machine is able to understand on its own language. Irrespective of the type of language what we are taking, a machine is able to understand on its own language. That is possible just by processing a language. So that much craze and that much importance is there for the language processing. Just by embedding new techniques of machine learning or artificial intelligence related techniques into our language processing, we can make this particular task much more user friendly and much more soft, such that finally our main goal of making automation and reducing the human intervention would be minimized. That is the main goal behind it. Hope you understood what is the deduction, like what is machine learning and what is language processing, why we have to do this task for today. So this is the relation. So with this relation, you understood, like before this IA and ML, there is a domain called linguistics. With the help of this linguistics, one can able to understand a language in terms of morphologically, in terms of syntax, in terms of semantics, in terms of many terms, we are able to understand a language just by embedding computational techniques, not machine learning techniques. Before machine learning also, we introduced a different set of techniques into language processing. So just by embedding certain computational techniques, we have added its flavor, and by the presence of this artificial intelligence, now it made much more easier and much more user friendly. I'll just explain you all those things in future course, but this is the what exactly the NLP is related with artificial intelligence. If you see this Venn diagram, this particular NLP is closely related with artificial intelligence. And inside this NLP, again, one more circle is there, which is showing you about machine translation. Mission translation is one of the use case of NLP only, but still, though it's one of the use case of NLP, it has given tremendous impact on NLP, such that it increased its grace like a way. As I already mentioned, like in earlier days, a machine can understand only ones and zeros. But by the emergence of machine translation, we can able to speak with our system. We people are simply saying, "Hi Google." Simply we are talking with the system.
Hello?
And we are conveying whatever the
Madam
things that we
Shanti
want
madam,
to the mobile.
attendance.
So all those things are possible only with the help of this machine translation. A machine is able to understand what we are telling, and machine is able to translate our voice into system understandable format, such that all these things are possible only with the help of language process. So this is the only reason this machine translation got good place in NLP, though it is one of the use case of NLP. Such that I can conclude, like these are sub part of artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques. Hope you understood, like what is the relation with machine learning and artificial intelligence related to NLP. Any doubts in this regard? Understood, like what is machine learning? That is not my part. I'm not interested to tell about that. What is language processing and how language processing is related with machine learning, why we have chosen it. Have you understood?
Okay.
Why we are listening this topic?
Madam,
Yeah.
can you repeat again?
Okay.
Yes. In earlier days, machine can understand only
Okay.
ones and zeros. That is the strategy
Okay.
which we have. But by the emergence of language, as we am say, I'm able to speak with you, I can able to communicate my ideas, my views with you. If there is no language, can I communicate with you?
Okay.
Can I say
ఇప్పుడు
what
ఎందుకంటే
are
మా
the views that
మేడంకి
are there?
చెప్పాలి కదా రాజలక్ష్మి మేడం
It
4:15
is not
పడుకుంటారు.
possible,
ఇప్పుడు
no?
ఏది సెకండ్ అవర్
So
ఎవరు
language is
తీసుకున్నారు
really
అన్నట్టు.
important for sake
శాంతి
of
మేడం
appreciating her as
మేడం
exchange of information.
తీసుకున్నారు కానీ కనెక్ట్ అవ్వలేదు కదా మేడంకి.
So in this respect, now this is the time that we want to communicate even with the system also. System all the time accepts only ones and zeros. All the time the data what we are giving as an input would be in terms of binary format only. But apart from that, if you can able to do something more, then it would make a good effect on the future generation, such that like in future definitely in all in our homes we have robots. We have to speak with them. They are going to do all our works. How you are going to communicate with them? Will they know our language? They are not humans. They won't understand what we are telling. But it has to understand. If it won't understand, it can't obey to our instructions. Is it so? Yes or no?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So
Yes, madam. We have pattern
purpose,
recognition and speech recognition, madam.
for that purpose, we have to make the mission to understand our language. That is possible with the help of language processing. That is possible just by embedding machine learning techniques into language processing much more easier. Have you understood today's topic?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, I'm going with my further discussion. So this is the basic introduction why we are discussing this particular topic for today's session. Yeah, this is what which I explained till now. Ones and zeros only in earlier age, but now by emergence of this natural language, a machine can able to work on its own language, irrespective of English. Because of this only, we are able to speak with Hello Google. We are able to say whatever the things that we want to call. If I say to our smartphones, call to some so and so, it is able to do that task instead of our intervention, instead of doing a call by ourselves, it is able to do it. How the things are possible, how it is recognizing our voice, how it is doing that particular task. All this is because of machine learning and language processing. So as I already mentioned, like language processing is there before machine learning itself, and many computer related computational techniques are already embedded into it. Then why we are going with this machine learning means, as you already know, the craze that it has related to machine learning, that it can be maintained at server, cloud, even in our smartphones also we can able to use it only with the help of this machine learning models. So this is the reason we are embedding our natural language processing with machine learning techniques. So before going with implementing a particular model, just we will go quickly about the different use cases where this particular NLP is there, such that we will be boosted and we will be encouraged to do certain applications in this area. The first and foremost thing is related to health records. Like n number of patients we used to, the hospitals used to meet every day, and they have to maintain all their records. So in earlier days, we may have one doctor, or complete family might have one doctor, like family doctor. Nowadays, we are able to speak with our own specialists. Of course, specialists also went out, like we are able to speak one to one. Whatever the problem that we have, though the same problem is there to other person, whatever the prescription which is given to us is not similar to them. Why? Because one-to-one interaction came into picture. That how these things are possible. Is it really feasible that every time a doctor or a person is able to assist the patient? Maybe sometimes like the doctor might exist in far away places, and the patient might be in some other place, in some other location. So how the things are possible? The mission is able to understand whatever the things, whatever the problem that a patient is facing with, and it is comparing their voice, or it is comparing their whatever the intimations that they are giving with other intimations, and they are giving a kind of solution. They, in the sense, system is able to give the solution. Based on that solution, if it is not feasible, then it might be gone to some other specialists or some other experts. So the similarity checking, this is one of the good area. Like nowadays, the people are going with, because of this only, phone a doctor, otherwise related to machine related doctors. Now the things are possible with to the patients, such that everyone is able to can pursue their own problems on their own style. And next one is information extraction. So many organizations used to extract a lot and lot of information. How they are going to segregate all that information, how they are extracting the useful information from all the whatever the data which they had. So all that is possible only with the help of language processing. So many times we may give, instead of saying good, we may give simple emoji also. So here, apart from structured data, a language is structured data. Language can be in form of unstructured data also. It may be in terms of some symbols. It may be in terms of some images. It's not in a regular image to say. If it is regular images, definitely there exist certain features, but it is not a regular image. But whatever the thoughts that we have, we may show all those thoughts in form of different images. So all those things need to be extracted, and all those things need to be analyzed, and from them it has to give one feedback, like this is the reason we are going with language processing. All these are the different applications. Nowadays, whatever the application we are using, the time we are studying, we thought about the railway reservation system, library management system, school management system, hospital management. These are the different applications that we have seen at the time of our studies. But now the complete whatever the applications that are going on are completely related to these only. These are the things which we are using, and these are the things which we have to develop. We have to at least moderate some extent whatever the problems that it has, such that it can be updated and it can be extended, or how far we can do our better, that can be done only in these applications. You should not go with the earlier background story, 10 to 20 years back stories. Classification, this is again very interesting thing. Like if at all, if this particular feature is not there, our mailbox will be filled with n number of mails. Now, without having any human assistant, without having any particular filtering concept, all the messages which are not related to us, they are just filtering, and they are just going with spam folder. Just by seeing the message, just by seeing the subject, the machine itself is able to understand, yes, this is the real or regular mail, and it is not real mail, or it is not a regular mail. It has to move to spam folder. All this filtering is done only through the language process. Yes, the machine is able to understand whatever the text which is given. Not only the text, the data can be in form of an image or in form of a voice. Everything is able to understood by the machine, and it is able to do the classification. And based on this classification, our male, female, spam mail detection is possible. This spam mail detection is possible even through regular expressions also. Earlier, regular expression is the only thing through which this spam mail detection was taken place. But a regular expression won't do up to that much how this machine learning is able to do. I'll explain you this thing later onwards in clear manner, such that you can understand much more, so that you will understand why we are moving from classical techniques to machine learning techniques. Now, even machine learning techniques are also crossed by deep learning techniques. But I did not prepare deep learning techniques for today's session. If possible, to in next classes maybe. But here, my main emphasis is mainly on machine learning. How these are overtaken by these classical techniques, what are the drawbacks or what are the problems these classical techniques are facing with, such that why we are adopting to machine learning techniques. So all those things we'll see. So these are certain use cases. Of course, many other are there. Information retrieval. Nowadays, because of this pandemic, many lot of information, many news came into picture. We don't know what have to be believed, what not. Then how the system can understand. Human beings, if we can't able to understand whether it is true news, fake news, or true, then a system is clever enough that it is able to understand, it is able to filter out. If you see in Google, then just by making certain filters, many options are there in settings. You please go through all those setting options such that you will understand very clearly, very easily, whether it is a fake news or not, a genuine news or not. All those things can be classified, can be filtered. Based on that, only the genuine information can be able to take. How the things are possible? Again, through language processing. Cognitive assistance, no need of explaining this right now, or maybe whomever the listeners who are participants which are there in this session, maybe 90% you people are using smartphones, smartwatches. So how the things are possible, how it is able to read out our pulse, how the things are possible. Cognitive assistance, even if we have apple phone, that it is able to understand our, it records all our personal details. Also it will remind us what to do, what not to do. If we are planning for one particular meeting, it will remind us just by predicting the whatever the route that we are going with. The traffic can be predicted, and based on the traffic, it will tell us, instead of going to 8 o'clock, it is better to go before half an hour or 10 minutes. Based on traffic, a system is able to predict. If we are able to, if we tell whatever the requirement that we have to the mission, it is able to predict our requirement. It is telling you, no, it's not right thing to move in this particular route. We have to change our route. All these things, like a cognitive assistance or personal assistance, the things are possible only through language processing. And Alexa, nowadays we are using it. If we don't know anything, earlier days, if you don't know a table, then we have to use some human assistance. Now in my home, like my child, if he don't know 7/8 or 7/9, he simply asks Alexa, what is 7/8? Simply it will tell. So likewise, this Alexa, all those things came into our life as a humans, that they are dealing with like a human only, like our family member. All these things came into picture. But all these are the different use cases. That is the thing. Being a computer science student, we need to remember how, rather than knowing what is this, we have to know how it is working. Then only we can do some more benefits to it. Topic modeling, like what are the possible mergers in the industry, how different things are modeling with each other. What is the, for example, like BSc news or gold rates, how the gold rates would be, what is the possibility, whether it is going to get down or increase, how the things are possible. Like prediction can be possible. Prediction is possible with the help of topic modeling, text summarization. Instead of reading lots and lot of papers together, this is really important to us. Even we will be bored to read large number of pages of data. Instead of reading all these, simply if you have a summarized text, you simply will go with this can be possible. This even in our Google also. Just if I say, I'll just take a minute to board. Yeah. So if I search about such in like, yeah. So Wikipedia, it gives us whatever the, see, different set of information we have. Apart from this information, some logistics, some important data. Instead of reading all the data, whatever is there in that pages together documents, just we can easily go through how these things are possible. Is there any person who is standing and who is sitting and who is writing all these things? It's simply through language processing. How this is possible is just by observing the same data. See here, burn, BORN, burn is the keyword. It just emerged, that burn keyword, from this large amount of data, and whatever the thing which comes after burn is giving as its birth. I can tell you, even I can just give you some other example also. For example, see Modi. This is the similarity. See, here also the same keywords would be used. You can observe even from other Wikipedia information also. So this is the keyword which was used to extract the information related to date of birth. whatever the thing which exists after this particular keyword will be definitely date of birth only. Likewise, many keyword based searching is possible, information retrieval is possible, such that only whatever the important information which we really need, we can able to interact instead of going with a large amount of data. So text summarization is possible, such that n number of resumes the people used to receive from different parts of the country. It is not possible to go through each and everything. So this is the reason each and every student has to change their resumes at least for fortnight. At least for fortnights, you have to use a keywords, whatever the keywords which are really booming up the industry. You need to use all those keywords in your resume such that there is a chance that you will get more calls. So why? Because machine won't understand whether you are Pullaya or Nallaya. It just simply understands only the keywords. If those keywords are there in your resume, definitely your resume would be filtered. And from 1,000, we will be entered to 20s, and from 20s, definitely through our whatever the knowledge or whatever the subject area that we have, we will be scrutinized, and we can come out of that big crowd. So this is possible through, again, language processing and language modeling. Nowadays, many applications, even in Word also, if we are typing something, immediately it will suggest us this is not the thing that has to be done. Though you won't finish a particular statement, it would be finished, and it is assisting us. This is the way that you have to go with. Likewise, so grammatically, it is helping us. Even error mistakes like spelling mistakes, it is helping us. Language modeling, it is doing. If it is English, it is able to do. If it is Telugu, will it able to do? Yes, of course it will do. As we are using English language, it is able to do. If we are using Telugu, then definitely it will do. Like, of course, I'll tell you some constraints are there. All those constraints I'll tell you at the end of the session. But language modeling is possible, that this machine is able to understand what we are interested to type and what we are, uh, what are the wrong things that we have done. And chatbots, really very good use case to say. Nowadays, these chatbots, every bank applications, every bank industries, or whatever the good industries that you'll go with, in everywhere, even railway reservation system, everywhere these chatbots are there. So these chatbots would be of three types, like FAQs. This is just simply extracting the data from the database. Whatever the question which we'll ask, it will simply answer to that question. And flow based on previous conversation, whatever the dialogue that we have, based on that previous conversation, the answer would be given. That is flow based. And open ended, like our chit chat, regular chit chat. It open ended mainly won't be done with the machine. It would be mainly done with expertise, human only. So but these are the different chatbot applications. Very important thing that nowadays they are really having much favor. Of course, by adding many features, by deleting existing features, these are upcoming and booming. And finally, I'll conclude use case of NLP with telling about machine translation. Before going with machine translation, have you understood what are the things that I discussed till now? Different use cases. Have you wondered like, oh, all these are the different things that we are using now, but have you realized that all these are possible only through language processing?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll just end up use case discussion about by discussing about machine translation. Yes, I already explained it. It's really very super technology related to language processing. Machine translation is a two-step process such that it has to understand the source language and it has to convert into target language. So this is a two-step process. So here, what the source language which we are giving, it may be English, and what is the target language that we want? It may be Hindi or something else. Of course, there are just many things that has to be taken, that has to be handled with. But it's really very good use case, a very good application related to language processing. Because of this only, one can able to speak with the machine, one can able to interact with the machine. So as it has that much craze, I'm just taking one more minute and I would like to explain you what are the different techniques which are there as a part of the machine translation. So existing machine translation techniques are, the first one is direct translation. Human intervention would exist. A human will sit behind us and they will just translate what are things which we are telling. And machine translation based on corpus, like dictionary based translations are there. The system is able the system has to check for particular word and it has to translate it. All this is because of the corpus. Earlier old technology, and later onwards rule based translation techniques came into picture. If you go with your flat subject that completely related to rule based translation only, like there we are. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, rule-based translation is completely related to flat subject. Like there we drawn syntactic trees, semantic trees, how DFDs, all these things we have drawn. No, so this is completely related to this rule-based. A different set of rules would exist. Based on the rule, if something is in this way, then definitely it has to be moved into that way. Like based on different set of rules, all those are predefined rules. Predefined rules. We will just give all those instructions to the machine such that it will follow whatever the rule that we are telling to it. And hybrid machine translation, it's a combination of both corpus and rule based. Of course, some more flower got added into it, and our machine learning techniques are also used in this particular area of hybrid machine translation. Uh, of course, these are the things which nowadays the people are using. And neural machine translation, here deep learning techniques came into picture, and an advanced techniques, and very useful topic for the research. These are the different translation techniques which nowadays the people have. This is all about machine translation and about use cases. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, madam.
Now we understood what is language processing and what are the different applications which are there as a part of language processing. Now we have to do work, or we have to implement it. How we can implement it? What are the different techniques that are there as a part of machine translation? Sorry, machine language processing. How our machine learning techniques are interacting with this language processing. This is the thing that we will. NLP techniques broadly classified into rule-based, classical machine learning techniques, and advanced machine learning techniques. Advanced machine learning techniques are all, as I said, are already also called as deep learning techniques. So rule-based system, there we will use different set of rules. As I already said, regular expression. The best example is regular expression. I think I have. It's a regular expression. So, for example, if I want to extract a mail ID, so the mail ID would be having certain rules would exist, like some username or the name of having some alphabets and certain numbers and some special characters, like whatever the things that we will give as a part of username. These are the rules, and it would be called as a username. And that username would be followed by @ symbol. Definitely each and every mail ID would be followed by @ symbol only. So it is fixed. So it is a rule. @ symbol followed by domain name. Dot is again fixed one. Dot is an expression, and that it is fixed, and it is followed by whatever the extension that it is. It may be com, dot, in, or whatever. So here again, for that particular com or in, we are telling the machine that it is nothing but the combination of alphabets. If it is username, it would be in combination of alphabets, numericals, or special characters. Like we are telling different set of rules, such that just to extract a simple statement or simple word of email ID, we are telling different set of rules to the system. Based on that rules only, the things are getting out from the text. This is rule based system, and we are not bothering about it. And next one is classical machine learning techniques. Whatever the problems these rule based system has faced, all the things were most of the things, all those things are edit. One second. I'm sorry. So were gone out, were just ruled out with the help of emergence of this machine learning. So by this we can here this the difference between regular expression to machine learning model is here we need not to bother about at the rate symbols and dots. Here all these are the specific things that they are there in that particular expression, and we need not to worry about it. The system itself will take care of it. So that is the added feature related to machine learning model. And finally, about these deep learning techniques, there it's really super model. For example, if you consider a bottle or whatever the object that is there in front of you, if it is a bottle, this bottle has certain features like it has its color, its shape, its size, all those things are there as a part of the object. You can consider a mobile or whatever. So these are the predefined features that are there. So instead of having certain predefined features as a part of deep learning technique, it can able to handle on its own. Like for example, if I give a text in form of Radha. So a system, Radha is not an object, or Radha is not an image that a system can't understand its features. But with the help of these deep learning techniques, even the text related data also can be understood as an object. Like Radha is, of course, it's a word. Is it a word? Yes, it is a word. Is it a name? Yes, it is a name. Is it an object? Is it a living thing? Maybe not. Like different set of features can be considered by the help of these deep learning techniques. So if you understand these advanced machine learning models, they don't need handcrafted features. Built-in features need not to have. They can build on its own as a feature extractors to in an automatic way. No need of telling this is this, this is that. In our earlier cases, we have to tell this is the bottle, this is the bottle. Like that, we have to say if another bottle comes into picture, then it will say yes, it is a bottle. If we show some glass, then it can't understand. Why? Because we did not train it as bottle or glass. But whereas if it is deep learning technique, that it is able to understand, yes, this is an item that is used for drinking. It may be a bottle, it may be a glass, or it may be anything. So that is the grace was given to these deep learning techniques. So these are the three different techniques which are there as a part of NLP. We can go with any technique for our further investigations. And finally, this is what we have to we have to understand, that is the implementation flow, or how actually a model can be drafted. Are you attentive? Are you be with me?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the actual time that we have to concentrate more. Whatever the things which I discussed till now can be extracted even from Wikipedia or Google or whatever. Of course, it is also can be extracted, but this is the thing that I can explain you a bit more understandable way. Please be attentive. And with the help of this flow diagram or flow chart, that you can able to do your own work in this machine learning techniques on language processing, whatever the use cases that we learned till now, we can able to develop. The first step is get necessary data from the data marts or database to solve the problem. So large amount of data would exist. In that large amount of data, we need to have whatever the data which is really required to us. So we should not go with all the database. We have to take the data, whatever the data is really required. For example, if you are going with the employee, need not to go with other information related to organization. We have to take only that employee data mart, so that the things can be taken from the data mart. And after taking that data, we have to remove unwanted stuff, whatever the unwanted stuff that we have. So unwanted stuff means maybe in an employee itself, we need not to bother about retired people, or we need not to bother about some the people who went out for some other maybe they might be on leave or something. Like some data we need not to bother about much. So we have to remove unwanted data or less important data. All those things we have to do as a part of step 2. And merging relevant data, maybe sometimes we have to take same related data from different marts. Those that data has to be merged together, and we have to keep it in a separate section. So these are the two prerequisites that has to be done. Of course, it might be done even from other if at all, if it is an industry, then it's not the people who are developing, maybe the database people or whomever, they will do all the tasks for us, and they'll simply give whatever the data which is really required to us. Now the data set is ready. Even if you browse for data sets in the Google, you won't get all these two steps. This is real time scenario. Like if you go with the real time database, then you have to go with these two steps also. But if it is a regular data set that if you get from a Google or from any other source, then definitely you will get whatever the data which really you are working for. You need not to do need not to do all these two steps. So this particular flow graph I already drawn through a diagram also, such that you can understand a bit more. So data acquisition, the first topic is called as data acquisition, that we will extract data from the data mart or database, and from there we have to make a cleanup. Of course, these are the two steps would be done by some other people also, or otherwise if you go directly with the Google search, we won't do all these two steps. And next thing is pre-processing. Pre-processing, this is where actual computer-based interaction came into picture. So data pre-processing has to be done. This is where we have to be very much careful, and we have to make all our efforts. What we have to do as a part of data pre-processing. So as a part of data pre-processing, we have to work with the data such that we have to arrange data in an understandable manner to algorithm. Algorithm can't understand whatever the data which we give directly. We have to give the data according to algorithm requirements. For that, we need to pre-process it. What are the things that we have to do as a part of data pre-processing? The first and foremost thing is bag of words. These are not sequential steps. You can do whatever the step that is really required for your data. As we have large amount of data in our hand, now we have to give our data to our algorithm. Then what we have to do is we have to do some pre-processing, such that whatever the technique which I am explaining you now, you have to implement that technique on that data, and you have to make your data ready for algorithm, and you can implement it. That is what the data pre-processing, and among them the first one is bag of words. So in this particular bag of words technique, before going with these techniques, I would like to explain you Spacey and NLTK. These are the two different packages which are already available in Python. So most of the work, whatever the machine learning techniques which we are going to implement on language processing, we will work on Python only. So these are the packages which are already built, and just by embedding those packages into our program and using whatever the built-in functions which are there, we can simply do this task just by writing 2 lines of code. No need of worrying about much. But what you have to understand here is you have to understand what is the thing that we need to do. Large amount of data is there, and our algorithm needs this much of data in this particular format. For that, what we have to do, that if we can able to understand, then we simply apply that particular function from these packages, and we will go with our work. So as a part of bag of words, word occurrence. Word occurrence means for example, if you consider this particular text, here different set of words are there, like it, allows, to, count, word, occurrence, like n number of words are there. If we count these words in this particular slide, maybe 20 to 50 words might exist. In these 20 to 50 words, what are the words which are commonly repeated? For example, if that is there, that might be repeated more than once. So that can be taken out, and it would be given the word occurrence. Based on that, the word occurrence, the matrix would be maintained for the complete data. Whatever the number of words which are there in our document, and whatever here is not our work, that we are not doing. Just don't bother about it. The system will do it. Just by writing a simple line code, it will do whatever the plan that we have in our mind. And as I already mentioned to you, is not the thing that each and every technique won't be applicable on each and every type of data. It is the technique which are available, and based on our requirement, we'll go with what are the techniques which are required. So bag of words, it will do word occurrence count and it will make a matrix. Based on that matrix, we will understand how a particular word frequency is there in the text. Maybe we are interested to know the more frequent words in a particular text, such that we want to extract that particular data. Yes, it is possible. It is possible with the help of this particular bag of words technique. Okay, so these word frequencies are then used as a features to train the classifier. So this is one technique. And here, before going with this bag of words, maybe we have to divide the data into different chunks. Like a statement can be divided from the statement, different words can be divided from the words, the word occurrence can be counted. And I'll tell you one more interesting point, like as a part of this word occurrence, uh, in the set of data, 50% of the words, 50% of the words are repeated words. Like it's a good thing to say. 50% of the words are repeated words only. And bad thing about this word occurrence is 50% of the words are only used once. So we have to make our more concentration on those words, such that we have to emphasize those things. That is our main burden to say. So 50% of the words are repeated words and 50% of the words are used only once. So in both the cases, we have to be very careful. But here, this good thing is, as 50% of the words are repeated words, like is, ye, that, all these are the repeated words, need not to emphasize much on that. So that is the good thing about bag of words. And tokenization, as I already said, the data need to be segmented into different parts. It may be from different paragraph to sentences, from sentences to words. Like tokenization has to be done just by cutting data into different tokens. We will consider each and every token as an input to the algorithm. Here, machine learning won't consider special words like period symbol, dot, double quotes. All those things won't be considered by machine learning techniques. It is intelligent enough that it won't consider. But whereas if it is classical technique, even for that also we have to take care of. We need to concentrate much. Even in writing logic, we have to concentrate the double quotes, commas, all those things has to be taken into consideration. Stop words removal, like some of the words won't have much effect. Those things can be removed from our text, like our little impact might exist. Those things also can be removed. How we can understand whether it is really important or not? For that, there is no specific rules. We can go with previously existing, whatever the stop word list which is there, we can go from that previous existing stop word list. Then we can add our list just by adding whatever the things that come into picture or come into practical. When we are doing the work, we might observe. We in the sense, not by our sense, through system, certain words can be removed from the text and it would be taken out of the observation. And stemming and lemmatization, these are very important techniques to know as a part of data processing. So as a part of stemming, what we are going to do, both the stemming and lemmatization, both the things, what we are doing is we are taking the word into its root level. We are taking the word into its root level just by removing or slicing prefixes and suffixes certain times. So such that instead of saying go and gone, it can be combined to as go. Such that maybe in one place it might be encountered like go. In other place it might be encountered like gone. But the main meaning behind go and gone might be going only. So this kind of summarization is possible just by cutting unnecessary words or suffixes and prefixes, and we are making it into a single word. So here, instead of writing playing, I can write it as a play only, such that the fast way the data can be moved into. So as I said, both stemming and lemmatization both are one and same only, having simple or slight difference, I'll tell you. So as a part of lemmatization also, we'll reduce the word to its base level only. But the difference between lemmatization to stemming is that stemming just cares about the meaning behind the word. For example, if you see caring, caring. So just by removing this suffix ing form, it would be turned to care. But is here it is not care. It's care only. But if you go with this stemming, then just by removing this ing form, it would be turned to car. Here it is not car, it's care only. So here our lemmatization technique has good amount of good understanding, like it can do much more better understanding, such that even further processing, whatever the words that we already sliced with the help of stemming, we can give that those words for further processing to this lemmatization, or directly we can implement this lemmatization on our text, such that the main intention behind these two techniques is to make our text to its root level, and the data processing would be done. So this is all about data processing. So data has been taken from marts, and unnecessary data we removed, and whatever the data which is there in our hand, we just divided, segmented into different parts, in maybe in terms of a sentence, maybe words. And after dividing those words also, we encountered word frequency, and we removed unnecessary words, and we just made those words into its root level. All this is different data pre-processing stage. So this is really very important part of language processing. So this is the third step where we are. Have you understood till three steps? Any doubts?
Yes, madam.
Yeah, thank you. So next one is feature engineering. So this particular feature engineering won't exist while implementing machine learning techniques. As I already said, this feature engineering is nothing but extracting features automatically. If you want to give features in an system in an fixed way, then this particular step is not necessary to give. This is really required to extract features on its own. Like whatever the data that we are giving, it may be an image, it may be text, it may be voice, that has to be understood by the system on its own, and on a random way it has to understand. If we already train that data to the system, then need not to go with this feature engineering. So here, as a part of feature engineering, conversion of text to numbers is possible. Why? Because we know, like system can able to understand only ones and zeros or numbers only. We have to give the data in terms of text only. Though we say hi Google has to be converted into machine understandable format. So here, how this thing is possible is that need to be converted into that has to be taken as an object, and it has to be converted into number form, and it has to be trying to mission. So how these things is these things are possible. And as I said, like this is really required if you implement your model with the help of deep learning techniques. It's not related to machine learning. So here, see, if I say dog, if I say any dog, cat, or whatever the thing, then it has a certain definite features like a color. What is the color? What is the height? What is the breed? Like these are the different set of predefined features which we have. That we can understand, and we can also give to the machine, that we can also train our algorithm according to these features. But if we have given something that it doesn't know that it doesn't have any information, then the system should be intelligent enough to extract the data. How these things are possible? For example, if I have given Dhoni as a text, then these are the different parameters that has to be considered. The parameters are whether it is a person name or place name. So of course, Dhoni is a person name only. It's not a place name. As it is not a person name, as it is a person name, it was given as 1. As it is not a place name, it was given as 0. This is simple example only. It's not it's not the actual way the system will process. Here we have very good algorithms are there. We need not to do anything. What we have to do is we have to understand this is the thing which is really there for doing this task. If we understand our problem, what the problem which we have, tablets are already available, then simply we can take the tablet. Need not to we need not to invest, manifest or whatever. We need not to create those things. Everything is available in the market. So here this TFD IDF vectorizer is one of the good technique which is available. What it is going to do is whatever the data which we give in form of a text or image can convert into machine understandable format, nothing but in form of ones and zeros. So whether he is healthy or not. I did not given 0.7 means like whether yes, if he is healthy, we can give 1. As he is suffering with some diseases, I have given 0.7. It's not like that. It would be given. For example, if I give the same text, if I give my name Sujata, maybe I might be given like some data, some random information would be given for this particular parameter healthy. Whether 2 eyes are there, 2 legs are there. These are the different parameters which should exist for a particular person. If you remember if you remember what are the techniques which we have taken from machine learning, like support vector missions, all those support vectors, SVMs, all those things, then just by drawing those trees, we will understand if it is a person, yes, it moves to some other level. From that second level, it goes to some other level. Like that, as here it is a person, whether it has a 2 eyes, whether it has 2 legs, all those things would be estimated. And finally, whatever the text which we have given would be converted into number format. So the text to number conversion, which a machine can understand, is called as text presentation. Text presentation. It is object presentation. Object presentation, the system can definitely understand, but the text presentation need to be understandable just by converting the text into number format. That number format is possible with the help of vectors are there. Vectorization, we call it as vectorization. So through vectorization, the data or the text would be converted into different vectors. So vectors are used to represent the numbers, where vector representation of a text is called vector space model. This is called as vector space model. And apart from this TF IDF vectorizer, we have another algorithm is already available, that is word to vec. Just by including this particular word to vec into our program and calling whatever the functions which are there inside that particular algorithm, we can simply do this task. That's all. And once the data, this is another thing, like once the text to data conversion has been done, maybe sometimes we have to compare a text data with another text data. That comparison can be possible, or similarity among vectors can be found with the help of cosine similarity concept. Cosine similarity concept, which is already a well-known concept that has to be used such that we will go through how far 2 different texts are similar with one another. If you remember, just now itself I said, while maintaining health records, the hospital management doesn't have that much time to analyze each and every document. They simply scan one image, each and every document as a image, and they just simply kept it in kept outside. So here our mission should be able to understand the image or whatever the scanned document which is there in that particular mission has to be compared with other text document, and it has to match how far these 2 things are similar with one another. So this concept, cosine similarity concept, is there. With the help of it, this comparison can be done very easily. Hope these are the different topics that you have to know and understand. Need not worry much about it. Simply what you have to understand is these are the things which are available, and just by implementing these things, our work would be done. And I have to go back. Yes, so data pre-processing done, and we converted our data in form of machine understandable format, and now we have to build the model. Even for building model also, ready-made things are available, no need to do anything. So model building, yes, here if it is machine learning, we call it as a statistical model. If it is deep learning technique interaction, we call it as a neural model. So based on our problem requirement, we can go with whatever the model that we want. And please be remember, like it's not necessary that for every problem we have to go with the machine learning techniques or deep learning techniques only. Sometimes we can cut our vegetables even with no need of cutting vegetables with a knife. We can cut through our hands also. In the same way, no need of going with the models all the time. We can write simple code like regular expressions. All those things are already available. I already made some discussion about it. So you can implement those things also for analyzing your problem, and you can do the wonders. So if at all, if it is statistical model, then you have to go with Navi Bayes, support vector missions, random forest. These are the things which you already know. Just by implementing these things into our data, which we already processed and which the data converted into system understandable format, everything is ready. Input is ready. Now what you have to do is you have to give that input to the model. Here also need not to do anything. Here fast text, TensorFlow Hub, GPT-3, these are the big companies which are already given different set of models to us. What we have to do is you have to take the available model which is available in the open source, and you have to fine tune. You have to tailor that model to which fits to your data and which fits to your problem. That's all. N number of things are available. Excuse me. For example, if I am doing spam data detection, so what you have to do? So that for making this spam detection, first of all, you have to train your model with the different spam mails. Bumper lottery, bumper, prize. These are the different keywords such that the machine understands whatever the keywords which consist whatever the data which consists these keywords has to be eliminated and has to be moved to spam, such that we have to train our model. So in that case, these are the different flows which are already available. Just we can simply go to that particular websites, and we will, if we extract the data and fast text, TensorFlow Hub having n number of models are available with by implementing these techniques only. Navi Bayes or support vector mission. We will be confused whether to go with Navi Bayes or support vector mission. At that time, again, we have a solution like a grid search CV is a technique which is available, which tells us to this particular problem what kind of technique is really feasible. In terms of accuracy, in terms of precision, in terms of recall, in terms of F1 score, these are the different parameters. For what purpose you are doing this particular model, or what purpose you are doing this research. If you have an idea about it, then based on our input, based on our idea, based on our intention or destination, we can take whatever the model which is really required to us, and we can fine tune it, and we can apply whatever the data which is there in our hand to that model, and we'll get the data. We will get the results. So grid search CV is another technique which helps us again to which technique we have to go with, or which model we have to go with. Are you with me? Have you understood what I'm telling? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Keeping? I'm trying my level best not to make you sleep. Okay. So 5 steps. Amma inka rendu tondara cheppave talli anukuntunnara. So build a language model got completed. Now, if we are not satisfied with our work and the parameters are not fixed to the model, then what you have to do is you have to go back. You need to go back. Where you have to go back? At the time of evaluation, you need to go back to pre-processing stage. As I explained, to different types steps are there. You can implement whatever the step which you want. So you can take up any one of the step, and again you can pre-process it, and you can do the same task again. It's a cycle. Okay, evaluation has to be done. Now, after evaluation, you have to deploy it. Even for deployment also, a number of platforms are available to us. Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, AWS. These are the different platforms which are available. You can deploy whatever the model that you built or whatever the model that you extracted into any one of the environment, and you can see the results. Here, if you want to deploy only the model, you can go with these models. Otherwise, end-to-end machine learning. End-to-end machine learning techniques means from the beginning, from the data selection onwards. Data selection is also we have to include in this particular environment. We should not extract data from the from our desktops or from some other sources. We have to load our data into these platforms, and we have to implement our model. So these are the end-to-end machine learning platforms which are available: Databricks, Amazon, SageMaker, Azure, H2O, AI. All these are the different platforms which are available. You can take help of any of these platforms. Platform means just simply a framework. Now everything is ready in our hand. We have to keep whatever the things we have to be placed in whatever the place that is there. Okay, so deployment has to be done. So finally, monitor and update. So once the deployment has been done, then you'll understand how far the things are going well or not. Is it according to your expectations or not? Is it according to your interest or not? All those things would be understood. Once if it is fine, then okay. Otherwise, you need to update it from step one. Again, you have to take necessary data from the data mart, and again you have to go with the construction. See, monitor and update. From this monitor and update, again if it is required, it's not compulsory. If it is required, again we'll go back to data acquisition. This is all about building a model with the help of machine learning techniques for our language. Any doubts in this regard?
Madam, what is the difference between testing a model and training a model?
So first of all, we have to train the model. Training means whatever the things which is already there in our hand, whatever the data which is already there in our hand, we have to tell the system. This is a bottle, this is the bottle, this is a bottle, this bottle would be in a cylindrical shape, this bottle consists this much diameter. All these are the different features, as I said, told you know, feature extraction. So whatever the features this particular object consists need to be trained to the machine.
System.
For example, if we have a child in our home, we will tell this is mama, this is atta, this is anna. All the way we will train them. So without knowing, though we won't tell anything about other person who is residing in our behind our home, just by seeing the features, okay, auntie might consist these are the features. So he simply calls yes auntie. We did not train the child that it is auntie. Yes or no?
Yes,
That is
madam.
training.
Yes,
And
madam.
whereas the kid itself is able to understand, yes, it is auntie, is nothing but testing. If the particular child is not able to understand that guy who are residing behind our home is not auntie, then the testing would be failed. Am I making any
Okay,
sense?
madam. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes,
You.
madam. Thanks, madam.
Yeah. So have you understood how to build a model completely in machine learning for language? It may be any language.
Yes,
You can build a
yes,
model
madam.
for whatever the regional languages that we have also. Yes?
Yes, madam.
Yes? Any
Yes,
doubts
madam.
in this particular flow? Is it clear to you?
Yes, madam. Madam,
Yeah.
what are the machine learning algorithms that helps in healthcare domain? People suffering from Alzheimer's disease, or people suffering from, say, there are certain advanced diseases, madam, nowadays, which are affecting the human brain due to usage of mobile phones, or due to radiation in the sense mobile towers installing
Yeah.
on the top terrace of the some buildings. So due to
Yeah.
that, some radiations are being taking place, and even people with even in an younger age, they are getting forgettingness. So
Yeah.
that is dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and there is also another term that I have recently seen, paralingualistic syndrome. which makes senior citizens or a patient bedridden throughout their life. So they all whatever activities they need to take place, that they should do only in the bed. They cannot move from the bed. They cannot get up from the bed. Even feeding the food also, she will be done by some caretaker or by one of their relative or one of their son or daughter. So that kind of patients also I have seen. So in order to help them, what exactly are the machine learning algorithms that helps in these kind of circumstances?
Okay. Here, one thing you have to remember is problem is different, algorithm is different. You cannot mix your problem with the algorithm. Here, algorithm is generic thing that can be applicable to health records, that can be applicable to railways, that can be applicable to sports. Irrespective of the
Okay,
data,
madam.
what you are taking, an algorithm can be applicable to anything. Here
Okay, madam.
our duty, in the sense the developer or the person who is working on that algorithm, he has to make the algorithm applicable to these type of data, whatever the data which is there. You said n number of dimensions, n number of parameters, all that comes as a
Yeah.
part of data pre-processing. That data, it
Okay.
doesn't understand, and it doesn't know what it has to be done with the data. It simply
Okay,
understands.
madam.
Okay, it simply understands whatever the text you are giving to that algorithm. Okay, 1 second, ma, the data.
Okay, madam.
Nah,
Okay, madam. Thanks.
okay, here text is different, algorithm is different. There is no fixed thing that is ready-made. Ready-made thing is not available. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to
Okay,
make
madam.
much more data processing. Whatever the parameters that you are
Okay,
saying,
madam.
those parameters, how the things can be
Yeah.
handled. This is not our job to go with. Here, being a software professionals, we have to concentrate more on algorithm rather than the data. Okay,
Okay, madam.
fine.
Thanks, madam.
Yeah. So if you understood how to build a model, ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి నాది అయ్యో ఛార్జింగ్ అయిపోతుంది. Yes. Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes. So now we are clear with how to build a model and how to take the help of whatever the machine learning techniques which are available. And I already given you what are the already ready-made things which are available through different packages, how different big companies are helping us to go with these models. So finally, we have to conclude the topic just by discussing what are the open-ended issues. Open-ended issues, which are whatever the language processing which we discussed or which we have seen, or what are the models that are already developed by big companies, all those mainly concentrated more of English, or you can say like those are mainly dominated by European languages. So here our traditional languages, as I'm working with the Sanskrit University, now even whether you believe it or not, it is not possible to translate a text directly from English or Telugu to Sanskrit directly. It need a intermediate translation. It's taking lot much of work that has to be done. Like here we can keep our research in this area, our languages, like Indian languages, so such that whatever the technology that already got implemented on European languages, if we can able to implement the same into our Indian languages, then there is a lot of scope for development and implementation of this language processing. The best example I can give you, like for example, if I say, hi, you are awesome. In an English, if I say it, it happily takes and it will understand whatever the thing that I said. But if I try to convert the same word awesome into Hindi or some other language, it will give some different meanings. So if you say awesome, it will in Hindi, it will tell you Bayanak. Like it's not really related with one another. it won't give you exact meanings, whatever the meanings which are really we intended to have. Our intention is different and what the thing which we got is different. The reason is here the computational linguistic techniques are mainly dominated by European languages, and our Indian languages much scope is there for development and research, such as here our Indian languages are structurally rich languages. Structurally rich languages means if it is English, like vowels, consonants, all these are the parts of speech, POS. This is another data pre-processing that we have to understand, like this is a verb, this is a noun, like we classification can be done very easily. But whereas if you take our language, like Indian language, for example, Telugu or anything, Sanskrit or Hindi or whatever, so they are structurally rich languages. For each and every word, we have to POS, parts of speech. That is really very difficult, and data processing step need to be done very much hard. That has to be taken into consideration. And secondly, as I said, like machine translation systems, source language need to get translated into mediating language. It cannot translate directly from source to target. It's not yes in all the cases, but definitely it is yes in some of the cases. Recently, Google approached my university and they are trying to translate data from translate Sanskrit related text. Now that particular feature got included into Google. The things are moving on. Okay, anyhow, but here there is lot of scope is available to work whatever the language processing which I explained you into Indian languages, such that our research can be much more fruitful. That's all. I think I closed my session. I just done with my things, whatever which are there in my head. Is there anything that you want to share, please?
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your session, madam.
Yeah, thank you one and all, and thank you very much, the teachers of KRISHNA University and management. Shall I leave the session? Anything that you want to speak?
Dear participants, if you have any queries, you may ask now. Participants, any queries?
Sir,
No
whether
queries,
all
sir.
these PPTs will be shared to us, sir?
Definitely, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Any queries regarding today's session?
No queries, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. In your busy schedule also, you are accepted our request and delivered a nice lecture, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
ma'am.
thank you.
Yeah, participants, attendance link will be shared in WhatsApp groups. Kindly fill on or before 4:30. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a nice day.